Episode 3282, How to Please Your Spouse.
Moms, it's time to rediscover, rejuvenate, and renew who you are in mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie, the show to help you do just that. Here's your host, certified life coach, personal trainer, and nutritionist, Christiane Wargo.
Happy day. Are you ready for some football? Okay, maybe not, but it is Relationship Builders Day, and if your spouse likes football, well, you better be staying tuned because guess what? The playoffs are happening today and tomorrow. Who are you rooting for? But before we attack that, first we've got to look at our own relationships. Who are you sleeping with? Come on, how to please your spouse. For those of you who are brand new to Create Your Now, welcome to this incredible family. I'm so delighted of your presence. If you already haven't had the opportunity, you'll want to head on over to createyournow.com where you can learn more and sign up for the K.I.S.S newsletter, the Keep It Simple strategy, everyday solutions to live, love, and impact. Well, this episode is brought to you by AIM, Inspiring Connection and Community. All right, we have a lot to cover, but as you know, I am on the road, and so it's fun to be on the road. I'm out of the snow and ice, but I get to go back in the snow and ice today, later on, so pray for safe travels for me. It's probably going to be another 17 to 18-hour drive, but that's okay. It's a lot of time to think, which means more stuff for you. Really that's truly what it means. But I wanted to come here and just share my heart today. Marriages are tough, right? In the ebb and flow of marriage, right? It's not uncommon for couples to find themselves just yearning for more. They want that deeper connection. They claim they want that greater happiness and this heightened sense of contentment. But a lot of times they're not willing to put in the work. So what if you could learn how to please your spouse? What if you could figure out a way to say, you know what? I want to take it to that next level. And I'm not saying that everything's going to go away and that you're not going to have some issues that you're going to have to deal with, because you're going to have tough conversations. That's just part of it. But you can begin to pave the path to a rekindling of your marriage. If you truly are saying, yeah, I want to do this. I want to take heart. That is your K.I.S.S to Keep It Simple strategy. Take heart. And a lot of times we're just not. I mean, we are just going through the motions thinking like, nah, it'll come. And I'm fine if we get to this point. But you know what? I'm also kind of okay with mediocrity. Like, I don't want to do anything else. I don't have to work any harder. He's happy in his job. I'm happy in my job. The kids, well, they kind of got out of the terrible twos and now we're in the tweens and teens and some of them are in college. But, you know, we're making do. And I'm okay with making do because, man, there were years that I didn't even think I could wake up with the person I was sleeping with, right? And here you thought we were going to talk about intimacy, didn't you? Well, we're talking about intimacy in a different way. Take heart. It's about going to the heart. And a lot of times, you know, men as a whole, and I know I just lumped you into one big sum, so please do not send me those hate emails. But a lot of times men are like, you know, hey, it's all about, you know, sex, right? The intimacy. We just want to build that. And we want more of it and more of it and more of it. And the woman is saying, some of them do say we want more of it. But a lot of them are like, well, we're the nurturers. And we're tired by the time the end of the day comes or by the time we have that kind of break and pause in our responsibility of raising kids, of holding down the house. And whether or not you work outside the house or not, right? We have responsibilities. And whether you're a male or female, husband or wife, when you look at these, you have different form and functions in the household. Okay, now that doesn't mean that some don't cross over. That doesn't mean that a man can't do a woman's job and vice versa. But I'm here to say a woman can only have a child, right? So there are some things that only a woman can do. And I would say there are some things only a man can do. Now, I know that's controversial, but I'm going to say it anyway. Because what we don't know and what we all can do is that we can take heart. We can actually begin to look inward more so and say, what is it that I'm wanting, but I can give it in a fashion that my spouse wants? So let's break it down into three things. Number one, speak how you want to hear. And what I mean by that is when you enunciate those syllables and they become words into phrases, into sentences, into paragraphs. And sometimes they are a great conversation, and other times they just tear your spouse apart. Which side of the spectrum do you want to be on? I'm assuming you want to be on the I want to build my spouse up. I want to be there. I want to see him or her succeed in all of her dreams. Like, I want to help make her dreams come true. But a lot of times when we're hurting ourselves and we're feeling like, gosh, like, why won't my spouse do more of what I want, right? It comes back to the I. We forget to place it back on what can we do to serve the person we love in a manner, number one, that they'll receive it, and in a manner that eventually they will reciprocate it. It takes one, my friend, to start this chain of events. And when you take heart, it's really looking at going, okay, if I want to speak how you want to hear, so that means I want to say things. I want to be kind to you because guess what I want to hear? I want to hear kindness back. So if you've got a spouse that is kind of mouthy, and I don't want to use the word bullying, but to a degree where it's like, well, I just expect this of you. You're just supposed to do this. Why? Well, because this is what was modeled to me when my parents, were married, even though they've been divorced twice. Okay. Now, seriously, that's not putting divorce in a bucket saying that that's bad. That's owning up to where you are in your life as a fact. Okay. Take out the feelings for a moment. But if you sit here and you're like, well, gosh, she just treats me like CRAP, so why would I give her anything? Because if you want it reciprocated, you've got to be willing to give it. So speak how you want to hear. If you want more kindness and more of a soothing voice coming at you, are you speaking that way? Do you use words that build up or do you use words that tear down? Right? There's a time for everything, a season. Maybe this season for you is, I need to speak differently and I need to be really listening to the words that are coming out of my mouth, right? How I do the ums and the oh, all of these things add up because sometimes you don't even have to say a word. It can be a deep breath or, have you ever had that where it kind of just says, but it doesn't come out that way? I have to kind of enunciate that so you get it over the microphone, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. And then your spouse hears it and they're like, what now? Like, I can't do anything right. And you wonder why your spouse is offensive, right? How to please your spouse. You've got to take heart. You've got to lean in, speak how you want to hear it in a manner that they will receive it, so then they will reciprocate it back to you. Number two, see what you desire. So if you're looking for only the bad, I promise you that's the only thing you will find. As I was traveling down here, it was great. It was long, icy roads. But you know what? If I just kept looking for the icy roads, I probably would have eventually ended up in the ditch because the icy roads did disappear. Okay. It took me a few hours to get to that point. But if I just kept my eyes looking there, man, I would have had to have gone off somewhere else because eventually it got better. Well, if you're only looking for the bad, you're only going to see it. And you're always going to see things through the lens of, it's not good enough for me. So see what you desire. See the good in your spouse. Yes, I get it. He may absolutely drive you crazy because he doesn't pick up his shoes. Okay, but that's one thing. That's one, in the midst of your entire being, that's one little minor thing. Now, I get it. It adds up because you're like, well, you don't have the pile of laundry on the floor. No, right now my bedroom is completely tore up. I really don't have a bedroom. So I could be complaining about a lot of things, but you see, I see what I desire. And when I walk in my bedroom, I don't want to look at the piles and focus on, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to get out of this mess? Like we've had water after water after water. I mean, me driving down here, icy roads. Then I get a phone call, less than 4 hours of sleep, and my son's waking me up saying, Mom, where's the water valve turn off? How do I shut off the water in the house? We've got water all over. Now, I could have sat there and been like, oh my gosh, like seriously, this always happens. I can't catch a break. And I can't say that I didn't say that or think that because I did. However, I shifted immediately and I was like, okay, what am I going to see here? Oh, wait, that means I get to make a decision. Am I going to make another insurance claim or not? And then number two, depending upon that decision, I may get a brand new looking house even now. Got the east wing that's going to come up new. Now we got to work with the west wing. Wow. And everything meets in the middle. Yes. See what you desire. See the hope in your spouse, even though you may not feel that hope, but see it. See that breath of fresh air when your spouse walks into the room. Right? And it's layer upon layer, right? Speak how you want to hear. Then when you see what you desire, man, it's like, oh my goodness, this is a different world I'm living in. Now I get it. Sometimes your spouse is mean to you and you don't want to deal with that. Well, you can make a decision. You can stand there and take it, or you can stand there and say, when you're ready to have a conversation where we both are not yelling at each other, let me know, and walk out of the room. There's a time for everything. What season are you in? Where do you need to take heart more of? How you speak, how you see, and finally, number 3, how you give. Give what you want. And what I'm saying here is not of, oh, well, if I want the world, then, I should be giving the world. That's not what I'm saying. Give what you want. Remember, it's a reciprocation. So you're modeling this to your spouse. You're saying, look, I need more time with you. Well, if you keep saying that to your spouse, let me ask you this question. Are you giving more time to her? Are you giving more time to him? Because a lot of times what we want isn't what we're giving back. And that's when it's like, dag, nabbit, pie in the face, Christiane. That's like not fair. You're calling me out on all my stuff. Yeah, I am calling you out on all your stuff. Because it's not fair. You're right. Marriage is a two-way street, but it starts with one. And so how do you take heart so that you can begin to rekindle that passion, right? It's how to please your spouse. And when you begin to see that, oh my gosh, I can please him in this manner, in a very unique way that he receives it, I promise you, eventually, I can't give you a time frame. It may be 3 years from now, okay? But you got to do the work. I've put in the work to our marriage. My husband has done the same thing. And at one point, we were just kind of status quo. And it was good, but it wasn't like great. I could say right now, after the tornado, let's see, we are coming into 14 years since we had this huge tumultuous upheaval in our household. And he told me he'd fallen out of love. I could have said right then, you know what? That's it. I'm done. Yeah, you feel that way? Get out. I'm fine with it. You don't treat me the way I want you to treat me. You don't provide for me. You're always gone. I mean, I could complain and complain. I could fuss. And I could validate all the excuses of not putting the work. Because that's really what excuses are. Excuses nullify you working, you doing the do. I want you to decide to take heart and do what needs to be done. Speak, see, give. Don't wait for them to initiate, right? Your spouse doesn't have to be the one always that says, oh, yeah, this is what I want. Really? Come on, women. Let's do this. If you want more intimacy in your marriage, are you actually going out and kind of having some fun with your spouse? Having some little teasers, flirting? Yeah, believe it or not, you can be married for 50, 60, 70 years even and still flirt. But for some reason, we just kind of get lazy. We become sloth-like. Well, if he really wants it, he will come around. Really? How far has that gotten you? Think about that mindset. Think about your actions or the lack thereof. You hear me say a lot, take aim. Action ignites motivation. You just can't sit back and say, well, I deserve to be loved. We all deserve to be loved. But the question is, are you giving love? Not to the point where you deserve it, but then that who you give it to will be reciprocated. And you have to share it in a manner, right? When you share your love, it has to be shared in a manner that they receive it. So for some people, they love written notes. What does your spouse love? What speaks to them? And I'm not going to get into all the love languages. I mean, you could sit here and pull things out forever, and that just sometimes falls into the weeds. I don't want it to fall in the weeds today. I want you to take heart. I want you to rekindle that flame deep within. You did not say I do just because. You didn't flip a coin on the football field like heads or tails. Well, if it's heads, I'm going to marry her. If it's tails, I'm not going to marry him. You flipped the coin and it landed on heads. Yes! And now you're like, now I'm doomed. I'm just stuck in it. Yeah, you're only going to be stuck in it if that's your attitude. So make 2024 a lot more, something different, something unique. Literally rekindle that flame. Start doing some of the hard work. Now, I say all of this, it's hard. It's tough. It's not easy. And sometimes, in fact, actually a lot of times, it's very challenging to do it on your own. So stay tuned because we're going to be opening up AIM very soon. I am traveling, like I said, so we've got a few tweaks and all that on the back end here in the next few days. But fingers crossed, by Valentine's Day, if not by the end of January, we're going to have AIM up and running. And this is this kind of thing we're going to be talking about. It's not the only thing, right? It's about doing life together in a manner that honors, yes, you as an individual, but it honors your spouse, it honors your family, it honors God. And you can really live a life even though you're on a roller coaster and you don't always get to pick and choose your ride, but you can enjoy it in a manner that brings joy. And that goes much deeper than, oh yeah, I want all these material things, or I want this, I want to be able to travel. That's all wonderful. But take heart. Where is your heart, my friend, with your spouse? Are you in a season where you've just kind of severed some of it and you're like, I'm just kind of done. And I'm just going to get through this season and then, well, maybe I'll figure it out. Maybe you're in a season that you're like, I just need something because I'm a day away from getting the big D and going filing papers. Or maybe you're a newlywed that says, Christiane, oh my goodness, dating was fun, but let me tell you, this marriage thing is hard. And I thought it was just going to be a walk in the park. Wherever you are in your season, take heart. Be willing to go deeper. Be willing to be vulnerable. Be willing to seek out a space in your heart for your spouse by giving them really what you want, yet it's how they want to receive it. However, in time, what happens? They reciprocate it. Now, that's an easy, right? That's the easy catch-all. And I know it's not easy. It's not. I have walked that road. But it can be done. Yes, marriage is a two-way street, but it starts with one. Are you willing to take heart with your heart to make an impact in your marriage today? Go in peace. Be present. Be incredible. Be you. I love you so very much. I cannot wait to see you on the other side. Blessings, hugs, and lots of love. Hey, enjoy those playoff games. We'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.
Feeling inspired, ready to train for life, and love your journey? Visit CreateYourNow.com for more incredible resources to help you along the way. We'll see you next time on Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie. And remember, always be sure you consult your physician before beginning any health and fitness plan.